Saddam, hello.
Saddam.
Saddam, who is that?
Harinder.
Oh, hi, Harinder. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. Are you getting rain in New Jersey?
We have a lot of rain, yes, but we also have a
beautiful,
beautiful green lushes. We look like Hawaii.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Listen, every
we
time
really
I see
do. I mean, I've never either that or my eyes opened up to the beauty of Mother Earth.
There you go. Every time I see Fatehkar, she's wishing that you were here.
Oh,
yeah,
we talk
so
on the phone a lot.
Oh, good.
She's going to come here. She's coming to visit her parents, and then she'll come here for a week.
Oh, how wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Okay, so now who else is here?
Aloha.
Aloha, the one who is our Hawaii girl. How are you, dear? Madam Dion.
I'm fine. I'm doing okay. I'm actually I don't know.
Like it's a surprise.
No, well, I've been doing really good. And in the last couple of days, something is trying to transform itself through me, and it's bringing, Let me just say this: that I'm in constant mantra in order to deal with it, whatever it is that's warming through me. And right now, as we speak, I am making a little bag. I'm packing to go to LA for a few days, take care of the cats with my friend over there. And I'll be alone, so that may be good. Alone with cats is maybe a good place to move through this stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, sounds good. Alone with soul.
Yeah.
That's everything. Okay, good. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Who else is here?
Guru Simran.
Hi, Guru Simran. How was your birthday?
Birthday was great, and surgery went great.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Good to have you here.
I'm sorry, what?
Good to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And who else is here?
Rahmane and Tomas.
Oh, hi, dear ones.
Hi.
It was so fun for Hadi Munder and I to be up in the mountain and to see you. We got to hug you. That was so good.
That was beautiful. I was just feeling it would kind of complete my Shabbat to meet some spiritual sisters, and there you were.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
We all live by God's will, which is totally yummy and cozy. It can be if we flow with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
And who else is here?
Sadanam.
Hi, Sadanam.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I've missed you all.
You. Yeah, good to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And who else is here?
Puranbir.
Hi, Puranbir. How are you?
Good.
Good. What did you think of Amandeep?
When?
Oh, I thought you were taking his class last night.
Oh, I wanted to, but I'm not.
Oh, darn.
I know.
Well, you can still take it by recording if you want, if you change your mind.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and we also have Bill Me Later for those in the U.S. Don't forget, 6 months you have to pay with no interest.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, you can still just go to the website and look for the link.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and who else is here?
Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne. How's Texas?
Hot. That's perfect.
Oh, my God. Oh, I got a little whiff there of Guru Ravi. Did I hear you giggle? No, it sounded like Guru Ravi. He's also in Texas. Huh?
I was going to say, this is Kay Hudda. I'm on the phone.
You were on the phone?
Mm-hmm.
How did we get you, dear? This is wonderful.
So Satnam, everybody.
Satnam. Kedar organizes solstice and ladies camp and so on.
Wow.
And she used to be at Faithful, and she is the one who puts these recordings up on YouTube. But she has to drop off a lot of times because she's so busy. So we're glad to have you, dear. Thank you. And who else is here? Oh, I hear you breathing. Who else is here?
Sadakal.
Oh, hi, Sadakal. How are you doing?
Nam.
You doing well?
I'm hanging in there.
All righty then. All righty.
Thank you.
Good to have you, dear. Anybody else? Well, okay, let's get going. I know you're hiding out there, but we are loving having you with us. Now, it sounds like somebody in the background is like cleaning the kitchen or something. So, but not anymore. Okay, bless you. So let's just begin long, deep breathing. Oh, somebody's puppy. You can press *6 and then we'll just be tuning in together. Long deep breathing. Relaxing in your third eye point. And inhale. Long deep breath. That's it. Long deep breath. Begin heart breath. That is, on the exhale, feel as though the air is coming out of your heart center, I should say, in the middle of your chest. Good. Let it open, this beautiful heart of yours, this beautiful heart. Good. And now please send this beautiful heart breath to everybody who is on the phone with us and for anybody who will ever listen to the recording of this. This is one beautiful ball of light. Good. And don't forget to receive it as well. And now, as you do your heart breath, please throw each one's intention for healing, for abundance, for kindness, for happiness, for yourself or whatever your intention is. Throw it into this big, beautiful ball of light. And also, please include the Middle East. Include stabilization of the Middle East. Good, good. And inhale and exhale. And please just sort of keep those intentions going. And we're so happy that Guru Simran's operation, that it went well. That was one of our intentions last week. Gratitude. Gratitude is so important. So, sir, Baba Siri Chand. Mm-hmm. Says, yes. I said, what would you like to tell us today? He says he would like to start off by telling us how great we are. He says, this is not to take it to your head and get puffed up. You know that. He says, you spend a lot of time squashing yourself down and then trying to make yourself viable. It's like pick up, push down, pick up, push down. He says, what I'm looking for here, he says, is a very abiding, sweet, kind happiness that is totally powerful, that is totally wise. He says, that's you. He says, as you let down the barriers to this, he says, it comes like sweet-smelling fruit. He says, this is your demeanor. He says, of course, everyone has a wonderfully different personality, so many different aspects of themselves that they can show, can operate. He says that claim your identity on this earth. He says, but first of all, I want you to give up the terror. He calls it the very terror of not being you. He says, when you get in fixes and you think you are not worth much, you think that people are just, or that it's your karma, as you see people picking on you, you having difficulty, people pushing you down. He said, and the biggest perpetrator is your own mind, your own consciousness. It says, oh no, how could I possibly be worthy? Oh no, I'm doing it wrong again. When will I ever get it right? I'll never get it right. I feel so guilty. I feel so burdened. He says, that's the part of you that's living hell. He says, you don't have to wait until you die and then go to the eternal flames. He says, forget it. He says, those are your eternal flames. He says, do you get it? He says, and you make them for yourself. He says, I know it's a long, he calls it an olfactory road. What do you mean, sir? He says, yes, it's very smelly. He says, it can be like dirty laundry hanging around your neck all the time. He says there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of disruption. He says there's a lot of broken, he calls it broken nonsense. He says you live for the day when you will magically be liberated from your own self-demise. He says even when other people appear to pick on you, it is your own self-demise. He said if you truly knew who you are, then other people picking on you would seem sort of weird. Do you understand? He says because you would see the real situation. You would see the God in yourself and the God in them. And so the idea of people picking on each other is weird. Do you understand? Keep up the heart breath, please. Keep up the heart breath. He says you were here, you were on this earth because of who you are, and you're listening to these meditations. He says you are the kind of person that does want to support the earth, that does want to support the great change to consciousness. He says, oh yes, and every week we talk about changing our consciousness to be who we are. He said, but if your biggest enemy is your own mind that tells you in every way to be unstable, to be worried, to blame others, blame yourself, to feel guilt, he says, whoops. He says, where can we go with that? That tears you down. He says, and we all suffer when you tear your own self down. Do you get it? We all suffer when you tear yourself down. He says, now, do not turn this around and make yourself guilty. Oh, my God. That would be terrible. He says, just listen and then use these ideas to catch your mind, to catch your feelings. Those habitual little gremlins who jump up and who pound you. He says, pound back. He says, you know that cute game called Whack-A-Mole? He says, do that. He says, better yet, love those little moles when they come up. Just love them down. Because they forgot. They forgot the truth. They forgot the truth that you were you, that you were God. When those little moles come up, let them take a look at your soul, your divine presence. Let them bask in the glory of your soul's divine presence. Do you see? Just feel that now as you do heart breath. Feel the divine presence. Just open your heart to your own divine presence. And he says, and when those little gremlins pop up, oh, I could never be, oh, that would be, if I looked at my own divine presence, that would not be humble. I would not be a humble creature. He says, when you do not look at your divine presence, he says, you are denying your divinity, which is the divinity. Do you understand? Do not deny your divinity, which is the divinity. Okay. Now, just be with that. Do your heart breath. He says, so often you pray to be liberated. You pray to be liberated. And then when the opportunities come to liberate yourself, you overlook them. When somebody is nasty to you, when you don't have enough money, all of that stuff. He says each one of those is an opportunity to break the habit, the falsehood, the false habits of the mind, of the emotions, to love them down, to melt them, so that you may be liberated. Do you understand? This liberation business takes your participation. It takes your participation. You cannot be a beggar. You cannot be a beggar in this liberation process. Keep up the breath. Instead, just march right on over to this huge light of who you are. Right. Feel it. Know it. Okay. Good. Now you stay there while we talk a little bit. He says, when those doubts come up, when those habitual misgivings, the guilt, the shame, those, oh, why did I do that? Oh, I will never be blah, blah, blah. He says, when those come up, your job of liberation is to let them go, to give them straight to your divinity. Whether you call that divinity is out there or within you, it doesn't matter at this point. He says, but the very act of giving up those quarrelsome anti-virtues to the Godhead, to the great light, to your soul, to your divine beings. He says you can give them to me, and I will eat them for breakfast. Believe me, I will digest them. Give them to Guru Ramdas. He says give them to all your angels and saints. Give them up. Do not hold them close. Give them up with gratitude. With gratitude. Do you see? Every time you find yourself being a victim, every time you find yourself doing some passive-aggressive behavior, you know what that is. You know, it's a very sneaky business, you know. You don't need it. He says, hand it to me on my plate for breakfast. Give it up to your divinity. And humbly, with supplication, there's where your supplication comes in. Please take this from me. Not to take the challenges necessarily, although sometimes you really, really need help with those challenges, I know. He says, but the part of you that strives to destroy the recognition, your self-recognition of the divinity of you, he says, those are the aspects that you mightily want to give up. You mightily want to forgive yourself for. He says, and don't be shamed by it. He says, it has been a necessary process in the karmic transformation, the karmic evolution. It's very necessary to have gone through that, to have collected all of that, he calls it mud on your boots, so that you may transform it. It's very important to have had all those experiences. But now, my dears, you do not need to prolong that suffering, that self-suffering. You do not need to endure your own self-blame. Oh, why didn't I get there on time? Oh, why didn't they recognize me? Oh, I will never live up to whatever. Forgiving yourself and letting it go up like smoke to the divinity, to the next dimensions. Giving it up. Let all those feelings, all of those ideas, all of those emotions, letting them come up and giving them up. You will be surprised. It could be like poop on a golden tray. When you give it up, it turns to diamonds. It is so fun. It is so fun that once you experience it, you just can't stop. Unless you forget. So it's very important to make a habit, a conscious habit of giving these up. You can laugh at yourself. You go, oh my God, look at me blaming myself again. Look at me getting upset by somebody getting mad at me, by somebody dismissing me, by somebody blaming me. He says, you get caught in this goo when you do that. He says on those kid shows, do you see those little cartoon characters kind of fighting in this goo that keeps them together? He says, that's what you're doing. He says, you don't need to do that. You don't need to ignore the other person either. It's not about ignoring. This is called not getting stuck in the goo. Keep up the breath. Okay, and he says if there is somebody to blame, if you have been living in this flow and you feel there's some place to blame, he says blame us. Blame your soul, blame the divinity, acknowledging that you don't get the whole picture. You understand? It's because we don't get the whole picture that we begin this blaming, this upset, this feeling of loss, this feeling of getting put down. It's because we don't trust the flow, or that we get stuck in the goo or the game that keeps us small. He says what we're doing here is we are liberating. We are liberating ourselves as we join into our divinity and allow the divinity to take and transform the poopiness into diamonds, into pure crystal clarity, incredible cozy love. That's all that's left. Oh my God. When you give all that stuff up, all that's left is kindness, coziness, wisdom, and power. So he says, dear ones, why wouldn't you want to take off all of those smelly clothes? That is, all of those games, all of those threadbare self-curses. Why wouldn't you want to give them up? Keep up the breath, please. Let them come up, all those little moles, to be loved rather than whacked. As you love them, they can be given up. That's it. You can call this the great healer in the sky if you want. But the sky is actually simply a higher dimension that is you, that you are recognizing more and more, that your consciousness is being able to live in more and more. Just let it come up, let the steam come up, let it evaporate in being given to the true divinity. to the true power. He says what you're doing is you're taking off these straitjackets that you've put on yourself, that you have gathered through the eons. He says, again, do not blame yourself. It was a necessary process, and now the process is giving them up and transformation, so that you can realize the wisdom that you gained along the way. He says in this transformation process, all of that difficult stuff gets rearranged. And when it gets rearranged, you'll be able to see other people doing the same thing, and all you have is compassion for them. You see? As you give up your part here, he says you no longer get locked into fighting or being put down or feeling disturbed or lost. You give that mode of operation, you give it up, and what's left is total compassion for when you observe others doing the same thing. Then there's nothing left to do but to do heart breath. Tune into your divinity and be you, who is not being pulled in any way, whether simply shining like the sun, exuding, and naturally, most naturally, giving the most appropriate responses that come naturally and authentically, not made up, not contrived, not numb, not forcing, but from this true neutrality that is the clear sky with a sweet breeze that allows the sun to shine, to warm, to allow love in its essence, not the kissy smushy kind, but the beautiful presence to just move through you. And just allow yourself to experience that pleasure. That's who you truly are. You're neither above nor below. Any person, any event, you are neither above nor below. You can be in front of 10,000 people and you are neither above nor below, but joined. Do you understand that? But joined at the heart. Keep up the breath. He says you are such a kindness, such a goodness. He says, never more shall you fight that by having to prove that you are goodness or a rightness. You never have to prove it. If somebody doesn't believe it, who cares? Who cares? Keep up the breath. You are who you are. They are who they are. Whether either one of you recognizes it entirely or not. This divinity commands all of your respect. Your divinity commands all of your respect. That's not to say that you can't just complain and kibitz and so on to your divinity. Your divinity can take everything. If you want to scream at it, that's okay. Keep up the breath. Knowing that your divinity will never judge you. It is you who judge yourself. It is you who deeply, deeply forgive yourself. It is the God within you, within your consciousness, that deeply, deeply, meditatively forgives you and implores you not to be better, but to be you. You see? No high, no low. There's only the truth of you, of your extraordinary presence, as you open to it. This is how you become liberated. He says you don't become liberated by just paying off your chart of karmas. He says no. When you think you're doing that, when you're paying your bill, and someday it'll be over and you can get the heck out of Dodge, he says that's not how liberation works. No, sir. It is this conscious self-liberation, giving up to the divine, until you know that you are the divine. Until you know that all is the divine and all is you. That's it, my dear ones. That's liberation. That's the process. And those challenges on the karma side are just for you to work through. At every instance that they fly up in your face, to work through, to go through, to let go of the hassle, let go of the self-blame, let go of blame of others. Let it go. Bless it. Love it. Give it up. Give it up to God. This is not becoming a Pollyanna and becoming numb. To say that everything is jolly. Well, we know that that's what we might call not too bright. Keep up the breath. It is to know in your foundation, in your very being, that all is the flow of the Almighty. And as you recognize it, as you let it flow through you, it becomes your flow. It is the experience of the divinity. And we're not separate. How could there be more than one divinity? Oh, please tell me. He says, so many wars, so many murders, so many hearts have been broken by thinking otherwise. Oh, my precious ones. Oh, my precious ones, he says, please, please move to self-liberation, to self-divinity. Do it with your conscious choice. He says, you all talk about free will. He says, this, my dears, is the essence of free will. It is your choice whether to allow yourself to get stuck. He says, in that continual self-battle, whether you think that you're battling someone else or battling events, you're basically battling yourself. He says, what is your choice, sweet ones? What is your choice? Wouldn't you rather give up self-sabotage? Give it up yourself in favor of self-liberation. Yeah. Keep up the breath. Now bless yourself. Bless yourself wholly and totally from the enlightenment, the rays of the sun, from the pure blessing of your own divinity. Let it permeate every cell of your body, every iota of your consciousness. Allow this truth, this blessing, this self-blessing, that is self with a capital S. Let it permeate every bit of you. Let yourself relax in it. Keep up the breath. This is the true yoga. The true yoga. Union of self-liberation. Keep up the breath. Know who you are. Know who you are. He says, you have gone very deeply today, very deeply, and he very much appreciates that, so that you know who you are. And now, please, oh please, he says, I know it's very quick after your experience, but he would ask your permission for you to share your experience, your understanding, your self-worth.
Aloha.
Panam Dian. Yes, dear.
It's funny. Well, it's always funny how appropriate it is. I almost feel like apologizing to everyone in the class because I think Baba Siri Chand designed this one for me.
So you're going to apologize?
Because, well, I'm saying, I'm sorry that I hogged up, Baba Siri Chand's attention. Because
don't you think? Listen.
Yeah,
don't
kidding.
You think that the rest of us deserve that?
Absolutely, benefit. But I'm saying that the as I mentioned before we got started, there's a sweetness, and then all of a sudden I went into this kind of self-struggle, which I can see it, but it's still there. And he was, this morning I was praying for just what he was talking about. I was trying to give it all away and ask him to find gratitude and generosity and kindness in my heart towards me and everybody else. I haven't been able to find it in days. And so everything as he was talking and you were talking in the class, I started to feel a relief in my heart center, a sense of sweetness. It's kind of hard to put it beyond that. Just sweetness. And just another, if I needed it, which I don't, but just another verification of how closely I'm loved and watched and cared for. Baba Siri Chand especially is kind of center in my life right now, and I'm really appreciative of hearing it through your lips. It's a validation that I guess I need every once in a while. Thank you.
Yeah, we kind of need the human side to validate. It's an amazing human experience.
That's one word for it.
Oh, good. So you were able to give that stuff up?
You know what? I've learned that giving stuff up for me is a hour-by-hour practice, not to be in the denial of it. And I will be listening to the recording quite a few times. And I know it's a process. It's not a switch for me. And in the process, my true desire seems to get solid. Yes, I want this, and I keep at it, and I keep at it, and it happens. Sooner or later.
Wonderful.
Yes.
It's a real dedication to the process.
And it kind of builds up the trust muscle for me, because faith is a gift from the divine, but trust is kind of a muscle that I have to work at on a daily basis.
Well put. Well put. Good. And if folks have been on these calls for a while, can you hear the softness in Padam Dhyan's voice today? We really appreciate your work, dear.
Thank you. You've been a Mitch to me. I don't know how to say Mitch in Gurmukhi. You're a Mitch.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hello.
Now, who else can share? Oh, there's somebody who can share. Okay. Just because we haven't heard from her a long time, I'm going to call on Sadanam. Sadanam, would you like to share?
Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
Actually, nothing's really coming
Okay.
through today other than how these things that we need to give up, I've been experiencing as layers and layers and layers of unconsciousness. And they kind of get all piled up.
That's true.
And build up, And I watched this beautiful movie. I don't know if anybody's seen it. There's I believe it's new. There's a new movie on Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. Do you know who he is? He's like the first.
Would you spell it?
Vivekananda.
Okay.
And he was like the first Hindu monk that came to the United States way back in the 1800s.
Oh,
to that Parliament of Religions.
Yeah, he changed a lot of things.
Yes. It's an inspiring movie. So you can, I can post the link if you want. It's there is a free link.
Would you do that on the Solencer group?
Yes.
Okay.
But the opening scene, gosh, it's just like they show the ocean, and so I've been hearing that. Like a background kind of experience lately, and how that, like the washing of the waves in the ocean, just clearing away those layers of unconsciousness.
Wonderful.
And that when that happens, this is God, it's so awesome. The reason we can't remember who we were before and who we will be or who we are is because of these layers of unconsciousness.
You got it, dear.
And when they're gone, there's no dividing line between the past and the future.
That's it.
God, it's just so beautiful.
All right. You see the whole process.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment. There's no judgment to say, I was really creepy in that life, right?
Yeah, no, it's just, there's no separation. And the way to give up those layers of unconsciousness, I just got this click yesterday, is never admit your powerlessness. Never think it's necessary, never think it's cute, never think it's part of the process to go down in order to go up. Just make that determination. I'll never be powerless again. Never. And not the human power, not the ego stuff. But what Baba Siri Chand was telling us, our divinity. It's just a simple decision not to go to that powerless state again.
And you've been experiencing that?
Well, I just had this click yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like, wow, that's just, and how you feel it like in your bones, Yeah. How, like, oh, gosh.
That's a sure sign.
We make it so complicated, like, I got to go through this process. And God, again, I got to do it again, and it's just like, God, we can make that decision never to be in that state again.
And why wouldn't we?
Yeah. It's time.
It is. And he's saying that this is the time that we need world leaders. He's saying this very strongly. We need world leaders. We need you to be in your presence. And it's, oh, goodness, he's kind of pounding us. And he says, if you stay in the unconsciousness, it is more of a selfish act. He says, it is no longer a time that you can stay. He says you can choose to stay wrapped in your own cocoon. He says, but you will be denying your own destiny. You will be denying your own birthright. He says, so why close those covers around you so that you cannot experience what you pray to experience all the time? So thank you for bringing that up, dear.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to that film on Vivekananda.
Oh yeah, it's a 2-hour film, and he was a student of Ramakrishna, and just their whole relationship, and there's this one part in the movie where he's going, I don't want to go out to the people, I don't want to be who I'm supposed to be. And yes. Ramakrishna is on his deathbed, and he goes, your very bones are going to do it. And he does it. He came to this country and introduced Hinduism and Eastern religion, And then he helped India also. So it's a very, very inspiring movie.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. Better than the ones that are in the theaters right now, for sure.
Oh, I know. And TV, too, huh?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, gosh, why are they giving these people a TV program?
Exactly. Well, thank you, dear.
Sure.
Now, who else would like to share?
I'll share something that
okay, Hart.
Gives something to what Sanam shared. That what I am getting is the main tool to stay in your power, like what she's talking about, and what I experienced in the meditation of how to give away those yucky, icky thoughts and patterns is the breath. And that's like for me, that's the challenge in my breath, in my lungs, and having to experience that that's really all you have to do is stay with.
Would you describe that experience, that process? What does it feel like?
It feels like pulling teeth. Switching over from breathing in the little demons, and letting the breath expand, because that's what it is. It's expansion, because all of the thoughts that want to keep us limited that's exactly what they are. They're contractors. So when you allow to the breath to come in the space, you're physically and etherically creating space and allowing those things to move on, and your divinity, the prana, to come in. So it's on a physical and an etheric level at the same time in your body. And as I do that, I have a lot of kinesthetic stuff going on, and I felt what I was dealing today with a lot of anger and a lot of that. And as I did the breath and I did the process, the place where I felt it in the left side of my body expanded, and now it's just kind of staying open. And I know it's a conscious thing, like I could choose to go back into that place of anger and being small and beating myself and beating other people. But but it's not really fun. It's actually infinitely, once you get past, you have to go past the switch between, the contraction expansion, and once you get over that hump, it's actually, you realize once you're on the other side, it's a lot better to be on this side of the hump than to be on the other side of the hump.
Right. So, no matter how juicy all that anger stuff is.
Right.
Right? Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have to create space for it. So that's my 2 cents. And it's just amazing how I keep realizing that it's all about breathing. And at least for me, that's a big thing.
That is. That's totally important. It's called Pavan.
Mm-hmm.
Yogi Bhajan called it Pavan. The combination of the oxygen breath with the prana.
Mm-hmm.
Prana. The breath moves the prana, and together it's called Pavan. Of course, it's inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, dear. We really, really appreciate that. Good description of how it goes. Okay, we have about 1 more minute. Would someone like to contribute for 1 minute?
I think I have.
Oh, look, we have 2 minutes. Okay. I think I heard Rachmani and someone else, right? Okay, Rachmani, we're going to take you second. And then who was the other person?
Suzanne.
Oh, Suzanne. Good.
Yeah. Me first?
Yeah.
Okay. When I hear everyone talking, I can tell that it's so important that we are a group. That's very empowering as a group, beyond even knowing each other. There's a strength to it, and that strength will make us be able to work, to be with other people.
That's right.
I understand the connectedness.
You understand what?
The connectedness, how necessary it is for us to be this group. I mean, I don't know how big or what, it doesn't matter to me. I just understand how necessary it is for a core, or I guess the word could be a critical mass. The thought process of this is so important in order to share it.
You got it. And also the connection of hearts and the, how can I say, the mirroring back to each other makes all the difference.
Yes. It makes you trust it.
Yes. No, other people are doing it. I'm not a crazy person. It's working for them. It's working for me. Good.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, dear. We appreciate that. Rachmani.
Yes, thank you. So we're just in the new moon window right now, globally. And last night I went to a new moon circle, and several things. One is that I just wanted to specifically ask us all to extend our heart breath to all the Muslims all over the world, because they're just now beginning the closure of the month of Ramadan, the lunar month of Ramadan. And the essential idea is to fast from any kind of unskillful thinking or behavior, and just to nourish ourselves on Allah. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
and just to allow Allah to quench our thirst, as from sun up to sundown there's no taking of any liquid, and to allow Allah to be the nourishment, as from sunrise to sunset there's no physical food taken in. And so just if we can add into this new moon clear space for new intention, to breathe into extending and sharing this heart breath with all our Islamic brothers and sisters, so that as they begin their kind of normal part of the year, the other 11 months, they can carry with them the jewels that they have gleaned from the Ramadan experience. And also for Jews now, this new month is beginning what's called Elul, which is an abbreviation of I am my beloved, and I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. And that's this whole month of returning towards identifying with the God self and letting go of any dysfunctional thinking that gets in the way of that, which leads up to the high holidays. So it just seems wonderful on this day the new moon, the ending of Ramadan, and the beginning of Elul, if we can just extend our heart breath to not only our Muslim brothers and sisters, but the Jewish family as well.
Wonderful. And so, as you said on Saturday, so that we can all live in the presence, the true presence that is us. Good. Well, let's just give a few seconds here, do our heart breath to unite with that. Good. And now we are going to sing this lovely song to each other, receive it from each other, and to also extend it to all of humanity. Inhale. Oh, and please don't forget that this is a very important part of of our gathering. It's also the how can I say, succinctly closing the energy and extending it. Inhale. May the sunshine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Inhale. And bow to the blessing of who you are and who everyone is. We belong. We are. God bless you all. Talk to you next week. Sadnam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.